Hey everybody, Dennis Richmond passed away yesterday, and I've watched a number of clips and videos from KTVU, people talking about him, and I have some things I want to say about Dennis. Um, we came to Oakland, well, the Bay Area, April 8th of '74, and the first thing that struck me about the Bay Area versus Chicago was the racial harmony. I was at Allendale and went outside to um, play, and my peers loved a game called Foursquare. So over here was someone Taiwanese playing with someone Mexican heritage, playing with someone who was African American, and so on. And I remember coming out of the portable and just staring at this assembly of fun and thinking about how cool it was. And then you go home, you turn on the television set, and there are only a few channels then, but channel 2 is the mainstay, primarily because, well, KTVU would play Star Trek twice in the evening at 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And so then the news came on at 7 and 5 o'clock and 7. And Dennis Richmond was always there. And so when I saw Dennis Richmond, I felt that Dennis Richmond then, and I didn't verbalize it, but it's just something I thought of, you know? I thought of him as the symbol of San Francisco, Oakland, Bay Area racial harmony, because you didn't see a guy like him, black anchor, Rock of Gibraltar, strong, delivering the news every day, everywhere in every city in the United States. In those days, they're mostly white. And, well, almost entirely, it would seem. But he set the standard, and he made the Bay Area cool. He made it the place that you wanted to say you were from, especially as a black person, because you could look around at people like Dennis Richmond or others and say, hey, that means there's a place for me. That means that this is my home. I'm comfortable, and everybody's comfortable with me. And that was a big deal for me, just to see that. So I began to think of him, and I think the title says it. He is the Black Walter Cronkite. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Mom? Mm-hmm. He was the Black Walter Cronkite. And you always heard his words. You always trusted what he had to say. I could never, well, associated him with a flub or anything that stuck. We all make mistakes from time to time, but nothing that stuck, because he had this character that was inflappable. He delivered the news. And for anyone who's out there now who has a YouTube channel devoted to news, and you're thinking, gee, I'm just getting started at this. Who should I model what I do after if I want to present myself as a news journalist? Well, look at Dennis Richmond's clips. Follow Dennis Richmond. I can't think of any other better model than Dennis Richmond. Now, that wasn't something I've done as a vlogger, okay? Because I have my own style. But what I'm talking about is if you're going to be a broadcast journalist, Dennis Richmond was among the best broadcast journalists out there. And in the case of the San Francisco Bay Area, arguably the best in history, without question. Without question. He is someone who I'm sad I never can say I got to meet him. And that's not the case for a lot of people. For example, I'm acquainted with Mark Abanez. I know Mark. I know Raj Matai. We're good friends. Vern Glenn is my buddy. I can go all down the line. But they're also younger, more my contemporaries than Dennis. Dennis is old enough to be my dad. So, yeah, I somehow missed that. How? I don't know. I think as I go back and think about it, it was just, I always saw him as out there. Like most people, he is truly the Rock of Gibraltar. He's not somebody that you necessarily are our buddy. He's not necessarily your buddy, but he is an institution. I think that's the best way to describe it. Dennis Richmond is, not was, but is and always will be a San Francisco Bay Area institution. A person who, when you think of him, commands respect, brings back memories. Like, for example, I remember falling asleep on the couch one morning, as I was wont to do in the early times of the 21st century. Go out, get in, sleep on the couch because I was working on my computer or something like that, working on a project for a client. And then I just conk out on the bed. I mean, on the couch, not the bed. So, bed was over there in the other room. And I did this on that in this particular day. And I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning, something like that. 5:30. My favorite program to watch was Mornings on 2. But on this particular occasion, you didn't see any building from Oakland or San Francisco. You saw something completely different. New York. And the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, World One, was on fire. And I thought at first, that's a routine fire. Then I realized very quickly it wasn't. Then realized, hey, a plane ran into that. And oh my God, a plane's running into the second one. Yeah, that was 9/11. And there was Dennis Richmond telling us about it, describing it as the most extraordinary event in history. I think that's, and doing so in his very calm tone, that monotone with a heavy bass. Well, this is the most important, the most incredible situation in history. Well, he wasn't wrong. That's a day I will never forget as long as I live. And Dennis Richmond was part of that. Was part of that history. But Dennis is truly, again, I'll say this, he's the Black Walter Cronkite, the person that represents the fact that racially, San Francisco Bay Area got it together a long time ago. No, it's never perfect. It never is. But doggone it, and you knew you'd rather be in Oakland than in some other place like New York or Boston or Memphis or any other place, particularly if you were black. And that still largely is true today, even with all the changes in the world. And it was in that great social comfort zone that I call the San Francisco Bay Area, that great place of harmony, that Dennis Richmond was allowed to be his best self. And we were there to enjoy the ride. So Dennis, I'm really sad and sorry I never got a chance to meet you. God bless you and keep you. All right, thank you, everybody. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark OaklandNewsOnline.com.